AE to the P, as it's been called. Okay. Every day that passes, it seems like there's more information that comes out that suggests that this upcoming AEP is going to be a doozy. Okay. Yesterday's show, episode 130, we talked about this latest change in PDP subsidies that CMS is providing, shrinking by essentially a third, causing them to be able to raise premiums even if they opt in on the PDPs, even if they opt into the subsidy and agree to the cap on the premium increases, they still can increase it a lot more than they could have last year, right? There's been several carriers, without naming any names, that have started to, push out first looks, which is essentially like a preview for brokers and agents to be able to get an idea of roughly what their plans are going to look like for next year. So we're starting to get kind of a little bit of a glimpse of what the market will look like. A very large carrier, it's been rumored, I won't say the name, but a very large carrier, it's been rumored that has kind of, I didn't get a chance to read the whole article. My understanding is it was talked about on an investor call, but they'll be terminating 600,000 Medicare Advantage members this come AEP. Now, last year, a big theme of AEP was plan cancellations. There was around 2 million beneficiaries, which was the highest of all time, that saw their plans get terminated last year. Now, the trend is, and the word on the streets is, that a lot of the plans we've seen that have moved to non-commissionable with several carriers are a lot of the plans that are going to be culprits to being terminated, which we kind of suspected when a lot of these non-commissionable plans came out, right? The carriers wanted to stop the bleeding on having these plans sold, and ultimately they just want to find ways to do away with them. So a lot of them are being done away with or will be done away with, it looks like, for next year. And so it looks like we're going to see a lot of plan cancellations. The trend is, from what I'm gathering, that there should be a lot of PPO plans that get the axe. Seems like the PPO model is not something that a lot of the carriers want to really embrace right now, because they can't control spending and costs as much as they can with an HMO product, because they have flexibility, right? In and out of network stuff. So there's that. This AEP could see as many, if not more, plan cancellations next year. And the disruption we saw with the PDP premiums we thought we'd see last year, but didn't as much, we might see this year. So what is your thought to all of that, good sir, of what we're kind of seeing in terms of this? Lots of plan cancellations, plan disruptions, PPO plans kind of shifting by the wayside, and PDP premiums to the moon. Like Dogecoin, they're going to the moon.
Again, I'm seeing the two camps forming already in my head when I hear this. There's going to be the camp of agents who circle the wagons, and their entire mission will be retention and rewriting clients. And then the other camp will be the agents and the agencies and the FMOs and IMOs and call centers who see the opportunity that this can be, that all of this change, all of this disruption can lead to more confusion, more seniors needing and wanting help, wanting to move plans. The reality is, if the waters are really calm during AEP and there's not much going on, there's not going to necessarily be as many seniors who need to change plans, right? Previously, I feel like what we were seeing with the benefits getting increased higher and higher and higher, where everyone's trying to make their plan as sexy as possible to try to outcompete other plans, it kind of became more of, a sales model of, hey, well, let's get you some more benefits compared to this plan. But as we start to see more turbulent waters, the reality is just being knowledgeable, knowing what's going on, being able to help seniors is going to be the ticket. So, my first thought as we're getting closer to this and we're starting to learn more information, and we've kind of already knew what was coming, right? We've already talked about this a lot, but it's now is the time to to really figure out, like, what camp do you want to be in? Which agent do you want to be? Do you want to be the agent that's just trying to protect your clients, trying to protect your book of business? Or do you want to realize that, hey, I can do that and I can also grow it and take advantage of the market that we're seeing? It's very much so akin to the stock market when there's blood in the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of people when the stock market tanks, they'll liquidate their assets at that point, right? I mean, how many times have we seen that or heard that, right? Stock
Mm-hmm.
market drops 20%. Everyone freaks out, pulls their assets out. Now they just took a loss. And then the people who are really making money, they're the ones that are like, oh man, I need to dump a bunch more capital in because we just dropped off. That's the way I look at this type of disruption in this AEP is, when people are freaking out and they're pulling out, or that type of mentality, it's like, this is the time to really go all in, you guys, to take
Mm-hmm.
advantage of this. I think it'll be easier to grow than ever before, potentially, if you really have the right mindset coming into this. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. I think there's going to be, you mentioned two camps. I think that's spot on. I think the first camp you mentioned of the people that are focused on retention, they're going to be people with, semi large to large books that have not invested in infrastructure to allow them to not have to do it all themselves, or the vast
Yes.
majority of it themselves. Like that would
Yes.
look like hiring staffs, putting systems in place, automations, technology, that camp. And that camp is going to say, I have 1,000 people to rewrite, or I have 500 people to rewrite. I don't have time for anything else. Then there's going to be the camp that is, of course, dealing with the same thing. Everyone's going to be dealing with the same thing in terms of
Yeah.
that, if that ends up being the reality. But they can handle that, as well as having the additional resources that they've invested into and developed to be able to capture new business too. And I feel like the first camp always has the outlook of like, you guys want to grow? You're not taking care of your clients, then I'm
Yes.
going to be the white
Right.
knight. I'm going to take care of them while you're just going to want to grow.
Right.
And they're just like sneering their nose, like, and they don't understand that there's
Yeah.
plenty of groups out there that are doing that just as well, if not better than you, but they're also growing in exponential fashion as well.
It's it's that same mentality of, I have to be the one to do all the customer service
Yeah.
because my clients want to work with me. My clients love me. I can't have an assistant. I can't have an LOA handle any of my book. It has to be me. That's the same mentality as this agent that's coming to AEP that's like, I can't possibly take on new clients. I need to be full time, just focused on retention for 7-8 weeks during AEP. It's
And
that same mindset.
how many times have both of us had conversations with agents where this conversation will come up, and it's like, and they'll come back and they'll be like, no, listen, you don't understand. My clients will only
Oh
deal
yeah.
with me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not special. Everyone
I
has said that.
tried.
Everyone has said that.
I hired someone. It
I
didn't
said that.
work.
I said
It
that
didn't
once
work.
upon a time.
Yeah.
I hired one person. It didn't work.
Yeah.
They were
It
smoking
didn't work.
pot
Yeah.
in my office. I had to fire them. It was traumatic. You don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went
You
back.
don't understand.
I went back. I opened their door, and there was this thing. I didn't know what it was. It was eluding smoke. It smelled bad. I later found out it was what the kids call a bong. I was
Anytime I hear
mortified. Drugs
any
in my office.
Oh my gosh. Anytime I'm confronted with this perspective, these stories, these agents, I always just want to be like, there's so many examples of super successful agencies super successful agents, IMOs, FMOs, where the book of business is being handled by somebody other than the agent. The writing agent, you don't have to do all of the customer service work. And when it comes to retention, you can have systems, automations, assistants, non-licensed people, virtual assistants. You can have so much in place to help you handle this retention. So your time as a writing agent or your writing agents aren't bogged down. It's not an either or conversation. I feel like if we play back what I said the first time, it's probably sounded like that to you guys. It probably sounded like you can either focus on retention or you can focus on writing new business. It's not either or. It's not either. We're not doing one or the other. We're doing both. We're doing both.
I didn't think you communicated it that way. I think you communicated it really clearly that it's like there's two camps of like their outlook on the situation.
Yeah.
But it's certainly like I would say the second camp that you mentioned, they are oftentimes treating it like, yeah, we can do both. We're going to grow. Yeah, but we're going to grow, but we don't want to lose half of our book or a third of our book that we have now. That's not what they're trying to do either. Some of them are,